Hello, my friend, and welcome to 2024 and to episode number 62 of TFU News and Views, our annual It's Always a Great Time to Be a Transformers Fan 2024 edition. I am your host, Anthony Brucali, owner-operator, madman behind TFU.INFO, the website, the Toy Archive, this podcast, Transformers University podcast, and oh so much more. And as we say every year since this show has started, it is always a great time to be a Transformers fan. So let's take a few minutes and reflect and dive into all the really good and cool things about being a Transformers fan and what it means in 2024 and what we can look forward to in the year ahead. Of course, it all starts with the toys. On the U.S. side, we have Legacy United coming up. We have that beautiful Titan-class tidal wave coming up in the next few months, probably later this year. Commander-class Magmatron. We have some cool stuff at the Deluxes, such as some of which are hitting stores now or have been out for a little bit, such as Rescue Bots Chase being part of the main line. I love the new Rock Lords themed gimmick, Magnius and a few of the other figures. I like that idea. They're pulling in so many different bits of Transformers history into the line. It's the really neat thing about Legacy and its permutations and now Legacy United. We're seeing characters from Animated. We're seeing characters from Beast Wars Neo, such as Magmatron. We're seeing characters from Beast Wars Second, such as Tasmania Kid, which is a smart move because the Beast Wars version was called Snarl and it was the same toy. And why reuse that name when you just did a Studio Series figure for Snarl? Speaking of which, Studio Series will continue into 2004. We'll see more Rise of the Beasts characters being brought into the mix there. We'll see more from Studio Series 86. What? Don't know exactly, but I'm looking forward to it. I can't imagine we're not going to see Swoop and as the last entry in the Dinobots. Plus, we'll maybe explore more of the Gamerverse. Who knows? Earthspark line will continue on. Hasn't been a lot of news about 2024 yet, but there are some combiners coming, wherein the Malto children will get a figure, which is kind of neat, and will combine with one of their Autobot friends or Terran friends. So Robbie Malto and Twitch will combine. And then Mo will combine with Bumblebee, oddly enough, not Thrasher. I guess that's because the colors are too similar with the exosuits they give the kids. But this is neat that the kids are getting figures that are roughly the same size as their partner. And then they do the very Energon-style head pants combination that we've seen done over the years. And that takes us to everything else that could be on the table for this year. We have Missing Link coming from Japan, and we only know the first two figures are Optimus Prime, or Convoy, I should say. But what's to come after that? It's such a great concept of old toys with modern articulation. Of course, Japan also will still be giving us Beast Wars Versus packs based off the Kingdom figures and that Year of the Dragon figure, which looks pretty cool. We've got Masterpiece continuing, along with Movie Masterpiece continuing. With the store exclusive lines, we know that there's some sort of Mayhem 2-pack coming from Amazon, plus whatever Walmart's going to do next year. And in Target, we're going to get the Buzzworthy line. We already know that there's going to be a Studio Series 86 Blaster and Eject for that line. And of course, my personal favorite coming into 2024, Origins Wheeljack. We have the G.I. Joe Collaborative Series continuing on with the Mobat tank as Optimus Prime, coming with General Hawk. We have that deal with McFarlane Toys doing the Page Punchers, which will be interesting to see what they do. Of course, Super 7 might continue on into 2024, and you got the Yolo Park model kits in 2024. So lots of interesting things in the toy line. Does feel like the audience for the toys continually gets split smaller and smaller and smaller. Not to say there are less people collecting toys, but there are the same number of people collecting for smaller reasons, and that does worry me into 2024. And we'll get into that a little bit when we talk about Hasbro and the future of Hasbro. But it does go to say that there is something for everyone as far as the toy lines are concerned. Now, as far as the cartoon is concerned, if you're not watching Earthspark, you are missing out. Earthspark is a phenomenal series. It's on Paramount Plus. If you don't want to subscribe to Paramount Plus, they show up on Nickelodeon eventually. If you have an old school, satellite or cable subscription, you can do it on demand. It's such a good series. It really does take a different look into Transformers and the war and what that means for the characters' identities. The show really is all about identity and family and what it means to be both a person and a person within a group. So definitely check it out. If you haven't already, I cannot wait for season 2 of the series. It's some of the best action sequences in Transformers series that I've ever seen, and the storyline is really good, and the new characters are great. As far as older characters go, we still got a movie coming out in 2024, and that is Transformers 1. I assume there will be a toy line. In fact, the street date is already leaked as August 1st, 2024. I'm looking forward to this. It's an animated movie. It's got a star-studded cast with Chris Hemsworth as Optimus Prime, and Scarlett Johansson as Alita 1, I think, if I remember right. And then Keegan-Michael Key as Bumblebee, and a whole bunch of others. But those are the three big names. I like Transformers media. I like when we get Transformers movies, and if a new animated show gets new blood into the series, all the better. And of course, speaking of new blood into the series, Skybound and their massive success with the Energon universe started in 23 will continue into 2024, being one of the best-selling comics of 2023. I can only imagine it'll expand further on. The story itself has been interesting. It's not necessarily my cup of tea, but I don't dislike it either. And the stuff that has been on the tangential Energon universe stuff, Duke #1 I just read was really good. The Void Rival story is really fun and could totally work without the whole Transformers tilt on it. You can pretty much pull those pages out for the most part. And so I'm looking forward to seeing that. So we have comics coming in 2024 in a much more regular clip than we did in 2023. And then gaming. Only two things to talk about in this realm as far as I know off the top of my head, and that is Reactivate, if it ever comes out. Plus, there's the toys that have just come out after being delayed since beginning of 2021. In fact, I had images of those toys leaked to me back in February of 2021, and back when it was called Transformers Rise, which is why the code name for the toy listings was Shine, so Rise and Shine. Those toys are out now. I've heard very good things about them from friends of mine who have purchased them. And of course, Earth Wars continues on. I think they're going on their 9th or 10th year. So great job there by that team. They continue to do deep dives into characters. Maybe one day we'll see the Sentius brothers come into the toy line, maybe as part of Studio Series Gamerverse. Sentius Magnus, Sentius Malice. I would love to see both of them show up as toys one day. They continue on the Earth Wars free-to-play game on your mobile device. And then finally, while that's been doing good, we know things have not been doing too well at Hasbro. The company plans to lay off a whole bunch of people worldwide. Think of this. This is a worldwide layoff of about another 900 folks. It's a troubling time. I know the consumer products portion of Hasbro, which is the toy side of the company, has not done well. So hopefully we see Hasbro do two things: tighten up their series in 2024. I feel like there's a lot of product out there, and I don't know if that is good for the brand to be so saturated into the market. It's certainly not good for collectors. And then lowering the prices is the other portion of that. Prices have gotten way off the charts, out of control. And I think they need to rein in their prices. Otherwise, you're going to have this Ross effect, as my friend Mike Seibert of Mike Seibert Radio Podcast likes to call it. Speaking of which, you can hear me on the Mike Seibert Radio Podcast this month as we talk about the Ross effect and what that means for the Transformers brand and for collecting in general. Because I think what happened this year with Ross in 2023 of toys ending up there and a whole slew of stuff from the previous year ending up there is going to continue into 2024. And as collectors go, well, I'll wait till it shows up at the discount store, means more stuff's going to stay on the shelf. And it's going to be kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy until Hasbro figures out how to catch up with the market. And the way to do that is lower prices. There is nothing that really sits comfortably in that $10 to $15 range or the $15 to $20 range. Everything is a low $10 range and small, or $25 and normal size, your normal size 6-inch regular deluxe figure. I think they need to find a way to move away and stop focusing on collectors in a lot of ways and focus on breeding that new group of 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds that want to be into Transformers and that are going to form an attachment to it at a young age and continue on as they get older and come back to the brand. So that's what I see as 2024 coming up. I hope that it is a good year. I do worry because I don't think I like Chris Cox's, the CEO of Hasbro's vision for the company. I feel his desire to kind of make them licensing landlords and sell Joe and Transformers and Power Rangers, etc., as licensing options where they just collect a check and let someone else make the figures. A big example here is Super 7 making O-ring G.I. Joes, which was pretty much untouchable for Hasbro to do until 2024. That is something that is almost like sacrosanct, and I don't know if that's a smart idea to start giving other companies a chance to do exactly what you made your company on. So if you're licensing out characters and licensing out likenesses and licensing out brands, eventually you flood the market. And I feel like once you start flooding things start sinking. And so that is my worry with Chris Cox. But who knows? You never know. He might get replaced as CEO. He might have a different vision. And he might be right and I might be wrong. But only time will tell. And with that, I want to wrap up this edition of TFU News and Views. Once again, you can catch me on the social media just about everywhere. It's Twitter at TFU_info until that until that ship sinks, ultimately. Of course, I am on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. You can find TFU.INFO, all one word there. And of course, do check out the Patreon, patreon.com/TFU.INFO. You could follow there for free. You can subscribe there for as little as $1. Get you a lot of bonus perks. You get to hear the show early. On some of the higher levels, you get to get exclusive podcast content. And I really do hope you check it out. Once again, I am your host, Anthony Brucali, owner-operator, madman behind TFU.INFO. Until next time, see ya. Want to be on the show? Leave us a voicemail at 702-763-4838. That's 702-POD4TFU. Or send an email to info@tfu.info. Be sure to catch us on Twitter at TFU_info and on Facebook and Instagram under the username TFU.INFO, all one word. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/TFU.INFO, where we post all of our podcasts, plus special video segments, reviews, and live coverage of Transformers-related events such as New York Toy Fair and New York Comic-Con. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please visit us at www.tfu.info, the world's longest-running transforming toy archive.